the National Assembly giving the National Prosecuting Authority Amendment Bill a thumbs up. Now, the bill seeks to make the Investigative Directorate a permanent body within the National Prosecuting Authority. Now, the Directorate was established in 2019 specifically to deal with state capture cases. Some opposition parties saying the permanent incorporation of the ID under the NPA will strengthen the fight against rampant corruption in the country. Let's speak now to the Executive Director at Corruption Watch, Karam Singh, who talks to us from Cape Town this morning. Mr. Singh, thank you very much for your time. I'd like to begin our conversation with a question around your thoughts on the adoption of this bill by Parliament. What is your initial reaction? Is this leading to the right path, so to speak?
Thank you. Thanks. Good morning. The final vote on this bill is end of a long process, so this shouldn't catch any of us off by guard. This was something which was announced some time ago as a measure to help boost law enforcement, particularly the alignment between the prosecuting authority and those investigating serious cases of corruption. I think it's a partial measure in the right direction. We know that we need specialized, trained, well-resourced capacity within the state in order to deal with complex corruption cases. We haven't had a lot of successful prosecutions to date, and the idea of this bill is that it would then facilitate the NPA recruiting, appropriate specialized capacity to be able to pursue these cases. And I think in that regard, it's a step in the right direction. I think the criticism is that it's only a partial victory, that there's still some real challenges around the ultimate legal independence of the NPA, and that ultimately, we might want something a bit more fully fledged in terms of an independent anti-corruption agency, which obviously the idea is not in current form.
You've touched on two elements there, Mr. Singh, that I want to hone in on, and we're going to come to that very quickly. I need to release you. I'm aware you have a meeting pending, but let's then touch on what the criticism by some members of Parliament against this bill, who say it lacks a comprehensive independence of the NPA. What for you are key concerns here, or do you agree with this criticism?
Yeah, I think the criticism is correct. The NPA still, somehow falls under Department of Justice in terms of how it receives its budget. And this is something I think that was noted even by the governing party in the vote, that they will have to revisit the issue of ensuring that the NPA is completely insulated and has all the the trappings of full independence, ensuring that it's got its own independent budget, and that the scrutiny of that budget is something which gets special attention, because we know that the NPA was subjected to state capture, that it needs to be insulated and protected from that type of a scenario happening again, but that critically the NPA really needs to be fully resourced in order to be able to pursue these complex corruption cases in a context where the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, the presumption of innocence makes it a real challenge. And we haven't seen successful big corruption cases for some years, even going back to the prosecution of Jackie Salebi, which feels like another era. So I think the criticisms are correct, and we need to see these enhanced independent provisions coming in for the NPA.
Yeah, and you touch on Jackie Salebi. Part of the success of that era, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong here, or if my memory is failing me, but part of that success was the existence of the Scorpions. And there was some nostalgia with the proposal of the Investigative Directorate, with some people suggesting that this harks back to possibly a Scorpions-like outfit within the NPA, whose job would really be to go after the corruption masterminds. But sadly, that has failed, has it not? Or at least is it early days for you?
Yeah, I think it's too early to say that it's failed, but it's up to this point it hasn't succeeded yet either. So we know that, following the conclusion of the Zondo Commission, we had these 8 or 9 big cases that were enrolled looking at criminally accused in the spaces of ESCOM and Transnet and elsewhere. We know that the first big case, the Nulani investment case, was thrown out. The NPA wasn't able to put forth a basic case around money laundering and some of the other charges. And then we know the challenges around Michele Coco's case in terms of that being struck off the roll and the need for that to be re-enrolled. So at the moment, it's limping a little bit, and we need to see the NPA drive these cases successfully over the line. They have the full support of the country and of civil society, and we want the NPA to be successful, and it's based upon this model of prosecution-led investigations. That comes from the Scorpions era. So it's too early to say we've lost the war. We're losing some of the battles, and it's all still to be done in 2024 and beyond.
Finally, then, how much time will this entity, will the ID, need to shape up? Because those 2 major losses are indicative of whether it is going to be success or failure for them.
It's very difficult to predict this in terms of time frames. Sadly, and this won't be well received, the wheels of justice turn very slowly. And we know that the criminally accused have lots of tactics available to them to try to prolong cases. We haven't even been able to successfully prosecute former President Jacob Zuma for the arms deal charges that he faces that are well over 10 years old now. So it's a wait-and-see game, and I think our patience will be tested in this period to come as we watch these cases sort of snake their way through the system.
Yeah. And South Africans, I think, will be forgiven for being skeptical, at least for now. Karam Singh, let me thank you very much for your time.